everyone, it's Shell from Scrap Secrets and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part of the May collaboration between myself and Marie. This month's challenge was to recreate a card that we have previously created, and I dug out my old card. I believe this was from a Handmade Happiness challenge a couple years ago, and the challenge was to use every single stamp on the stamp set. Oh, I found this stamp set that is new to me. I just had purchased it from MFT. It's called Birthday Bites, and there were some sweet images that I wanted to use on the front. And then there are 4 little pop-ups that go on the inside, and there just happen to be 4 characters in this set. So I thought this was absolutely perfect. Then there were 2 sentiments, one for the outside and one for the inside. It just worked out perfectly with that technique. So I am going to be doing some watercoloring with distress inks. Normally I would do distress oxides, but I didn't want that chalky finish. There's a couple colors, especially the grays, that are really, really chalky when you watercolor with them, and I didn't like the way that looked. I accidentally used an oxide on one of the characters, had to end up restamping it and then watercoloring it again because I didn't like it. I even tried to watercolor over top of it and just didn't like the way that it came out. So I first stamped out the sweets images on a piece of Canson XL watercolor cardstock. And then I used some Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink, which is one of my favorite inks when I am watercoloring. It is waterproof, so you do just have to let it dry for a minute or two. I went ahead and stamped out the sweets images, put that to the side, and then went ahead and stamped these images. And by the time I was done stamping these 4, the first one was dry and I would be able to go ahead and watercolor it. So I'm going to be using my stamp wheel to stamp the images. I love this thing. If you don't have a stamp platform, I would highly recommend this one. This is what I use all the time. I also use it for stencils, which it's really, really great for. Okay, so let's get to the watercoloring. I did leave a good portion of this in on the sweets. I don't think I left in any of the animal watercoloring because it was very repetitious, and again, I just really put a little bit of color down, spray some water on it, and usually come up with a light wash of it first, and then I will go ahead and make it darker, layer up the images. I don't want to do too much layering on here. This is just Canson XL watercolor paper, so it's not really the best quality. It's good quality. It's better than the stuff that you get in the kids section, but it's not, I don't think it's artist quality. So, probably a couple layers is best. I am using Villainous Potion in Distress ink. I will also use Shaded Lilac. I'll use, I think, some Kitsch Flamingo. I wanted to stay with mainly purples and pinks for this one. My other one was mainly reds and blues with the Magic Show and a little bit of yellow, but I wanted to really do the purples and pinks because I think I have somebody's birthday coming up that I'm going to send this to. So you can see I'm just, again, adding a little bit of water to the distress ink and then putting the color down, not doing any fancy techniques. So this was actually my idea to do this month. I had originally thought that I would recreate a card of Marie's and then Marie would recreate one of mine, but when we were talking, we decided to go ahead and recreate one of our own because she and I really do have different styles. That probably would have been a greater challenge for me to recreate one of her cards, but then also I probably don't have the same supplies. We don't tend to overlap a ton on the companies that we use or have the most of. So I'm really enjoying these challenges. It's causing me to create. I have been haven't been down in the craft room as much. The boys are not allowed down there without being supervised because someone has been pottying down there, which is definitely not great. I know exactly which one it is, but I'm not going to call him out on here. And it's just, so unsupervised, they're not allowed down there. So I have to really, there's no door to get into my craft room. So I do end up having to use, I have like a little shoji screen that I put up, but it has 3 holes at the bottom. So I have to keep putting things in the holes so that the boys can't sneak through. And every time I've done it so far, they've been able to get through. And it's been Brownie that's the first one to break through. He's like, challenge accepted. So I have not been down there a lot because it really is a pain to do that. And I know that sounds like it's a silly reason, but if I'm down there, it'll be for a couple of hours. Okay, so back to the image. I finished watercoloring the image, and now I'm just taking a black marker and going around all of the edges. I like doing this when I end up fussy cutting because I'm not the best with fussy cutting, and if you have a white border around the outside, this really helps to disguise, not the greatest fussy cutting. And like I said, I don't really love doing it, but if you don't have dies, this is the easiest way, especially if you only have like one image. If I had more than that, I probably would have gotten my scan and cut out. Like if I was cutting out the images for the characters as well, I would have, but not going to do that. I'm also using a lacquer pen from Hero Arts in this pink color to go ahead and do like the little dollops on top of that cake. I'm using the sparkle pen that's from Lawn Fawn to add a little bit of sparkle to the whipped cream, and then the center of that one piece of cake, I will use a Spectrum Noir sparkle pen. So this one actually just lays down a layer of sparkle. The Lawn Fawn one is actually a dimensional one in addition to the lacquer pen. So the first 2 that you saw me use will give dimension, and then the other one is just giving some shine. I am going back in with a white gel pen to add some highlights to the grapes that are on top of that one cake, and then I'm putting dots on the strawberries. Truth be told, I wouldn't eat the one on the left-hand side because it has strawberries and stuff on it. That's too healthy for me. So now I'm showing you all 4 images that I watercolored off screen. I did this at another time. You can see this was much later. I haven't even changed my nail color. So, this was a couple days later because, again, like I said, it does take me a while to get back down into the craft room because, I have to have at least a couple of hours to be down there to work on projects. So I cut out, this is a scrap piece of paper, and I love this. It's like purple, and there's a little bit of blue in there in different parts of the paper. So I cut down and just used mainly the purple, the different shades of purple part of it. And then I'm going to stamp out one of the main sentiments in Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink, the same ink that I stamped the characters in. And I'm going to, I think I stamped it 2 times because it is a new stamp. So I try to condition it, but sometimes you do need to stamp it more than once the first time you go ahead and stamp on a new stamp. Now I'm going to be using some 3M foam tape to pop up the sweets on the front of the card. I just thought that would look nice, give it a little bit of dimension. There's not a ton of dimension with these 3M foam tape from the roll. I have that Big Mama roll. So if you wanted more dimension, you could definitely either double it up by folding it over, or you could go ahead and just cut out 2 layers of the foam and then, put the layer on top of each other and put that underneath. So, but I just decided to do 1 layer. I'm using my Honeybee Bee Creative Glue to attach it to the front. So the card base is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top folding card base, but I'm actually going to be turning it on its side because when you open it up, that middle piece is going to pop out and you're going to need the card to lay that way. I also took some Lawn Fawn paper. So this is paper that was I believe this one was in the Christmas kit, or the one that I got for Black Friday. So I got the, what the heck do you call it? It's like the mystery grab bag one. And they always put paper in there. I think 2 years ago, I got green paper with like silver snowflakes, and then I got this one, and I really, really like this one. The green snowflakes are okay. Not loving the background color, but I really do like this paper. So it's double-sided, and I decided to use the striped part versus the striped side versus the polka dot side. Went ahead and stamped out the other sentiment that is in the set, and then we're going to get ready to assemble the card. I also used that same paper and cut out a 1.5 inch by 12 inch strip that the images are going to go ahead and sit on. I'm going to use that same honeybee glue to attach the pieces to the inside. So you want to cover, if you want to, go ahead and cover both of the sides. I believe that this is 1/8 of an inch smaller than the inside of the card. So once I've attached both of those sides, making sure that I attached that one correctly and that the sentiment wasn't upside down. That was what I was afraid of. I was double checking to make sure that, yeah, I had the sentiment in the right way. The front has been assembled, and now we're going to get ready to work on the interior. So you can see I have a 12-inch piece, and you're going to score at 3 inches, 6 inches, and 9 inches, and then do mountain and valley folds so that the peak in the middle pops out, and then the other two are recessed. You can see that here. Now I'm going to be taking the images, and I'm going to be gluing them to the piece of paper after I glue it down to the interior. I wanted to make sure that when I glued the strip on there, I had enough room so the images wouldn't be sticking out over top of the card. Wanted to make sure this could still fit into a regular size envelope. So I am pushing it away from the sides a little bit. I folded it up just to make sure that it was going to look okay if where I was gluing it. And you just want to leave a tiny bit on both sides, and that'll make the middle pop up even more. So there you go. Nothing is sticking out. And then you're going to want to go ahead and attach that to one picture to each section. So the pieces measure 2.5 by 3. So you're going to have a little bit of room between the two score marks. So you want to center it up as best as you can. Really only put glue on about the bottom quarter of that image. If you can go ahead and add a little bit more glue if you need to once they're on there. But really I found it was about a quarter of the way down at the bottom is really what you needed to do. Maybe a third. So once those are all attached, I'm going to go ahead and fold it all up and make sure that everything fits in there very nicely, and you can see that it all does. And here is the final card for today. So I hope that you learned a new technique. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I can't wait to see what Marie is making. I'm going to leave a link to her channel below in the more information section. Make sure you check it out, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video. Bye!